Alright, so in today's video, we're going to be platinuming the brand new Mouse PI for Hire game that just dropped on April 16th, about 10 days ago. Now, this game is based upon the old black and white cartoons of the 1900s, whether it be Mickey Mouse, Popeye, etc. And the entire game is all in black and white. So, yeah, today's going to be an experience, to say the least. In total, Mouse PI for Hire contains 35 trophies, including the platinum. Every single trophy in this game is technically missable, and it has over 200 collectibles to get. I genuinely have not ever seen a game with this much annoying shit in a very long time. But it took me about 20-ish hours to complete everything you can do in this game. And without further ado, let us dive into one of the most annoying platinums I've ever gotten on the channel.
Oh my god!
So, stage 1 of this game is to complete the story and grab everything. This game can be platinumed in one single playthrough if you follow a very good guide. However, if you even miss one tiny little thing, you are pretty much screwed, and spoiler, I did exactly that, and I ended up doing 3 total playthroughs. I'm pissed right now. Please stop suggesting me games that are like this, for the love of Christ. Please drop a like and subscribe. Anyways, the game first opens up with a mission that is actually set in the future. Don't we love media that starts with the ending? Life is a flat circle. But you basically just get introduced to all the mechanics of this game in a very fast manner. Gotta love it. Shout out to intros that don't take an hour of gameplay to complete. But then you also fight a plethora of enemies, and the combat in this game, if I'm being honest, is pretty mid. I don't know if it's just the style of the game or how minimal it is, but with how many enemies the game just constantly shoves down your throat as you play, it shocks me that they didn't try to spice it up with anything crazy throughout. Basically, what I'm saying is the combat gets very boring, very boring, and very fast. But all in all, in this intro, once you get past all of the enemies and a few rooms, you just kind of walk forward on this platform of sorts and you follow through it. After that, the intro credits roll, and then we got a very cool cutscene sort of setting up the story and our main character. Throughout this game, these happen occasionally, and they are unironically the best part of it. It's actually pretty cool. But back to the story, our character's name is Jack Pepper, and we are a PI for hire. Get it? Because that's the name of the game, literally. But after all of that, the game then transitioned to the first case of the day, which was a very simple one. And the way this game's flow functions is sort of this cycle of going to a case location, finding a few clues, or just finishing the case in general at such area, and then you just go back to the office to put the clues on the clue board and then piece together the mystery of this game and what's happening. And don't be surprised when I say this, but Mouse PI for Hire's plot is a metaphor for World War II and the German reign of control. I'm not joking. It literally is like dead ass. This game is a metaphor for Nazis.
What did he say?
The first trophy I got today, though, was called Comic Relief from just finding 5 comic strips throughout the game. These are one of many collectibles you need to find, having 29 total needing to be picked up. But this trophy was just from finding 5 in total, so GG, and here's that popping. And funnily enough, my next 2 trophies were also both collectibles from the baseball cards and the newspaper pickups. Now, unfortunately, this is kind of a trend. This game doesn't feature many funny trophies for the most part, really any combat trophies at all, aside from like a few kill X amount of enemies in X amount of time. And again, overall, I gotta say the developers of this game skimped so heavily on the trophy list. Multiple of the trophies in this game are buggy, some collectibles are buggy, overall it's just kind of a mess the more you look into this game's core functionality. But anyways, back to the story. I was in the midst of a mission called Gumshoe in the Opera, and we were here simply investigating, but we ended up running into the middle of an assassination attempt on a politician named Stilton. So you pretty much just barge into the bad guys' plans and fight and fight and fight. Again, the combat in this game is a drag. They just endlessly shove enemies in your face. And I'm not gonna lie, I honestly do have to agree with IGN's review of this game, which was very controversial upon it coming out. This game is extremely boring when you look at it in a big picture and past, you know, the whole, oh my god, Mickey Mouse kills people fun part. I don't know if that's just because I had to play it 3 times in a row or what. But during this assassination mission, I got the baseball card trophy I just mentioned a few moments ago. But then I did stop the assassination, and all you have to do to stop the assassination is just turn this cannon away from his viewing box, but after doing so, we don't get a standing ovation. Instead, you just boss fight against a super fat ass bitch named the Prima Donna. Overall, the boss fight is easy. I mean, it's basically just a Karen with a long stick. I see about 4 of these every time I go home for family dinner on the weekends. But then that was it for the mission, and you just have to escape with the entire place on fire and burning to the ground. After doing so, you then begin the cycle like I mentioned earlier. Drive back to the office, do things there, and continue on with the game. While here, however, you can buy a special paper from the newspaper boy. So I did that, and that also gave me my 5th newspaper for a trophy I again mentioned a few moments ago. Now, the next mission was to go to Bando's laboratory and investigate it, because there is some suspicion that some evil and, you know, just overall not right things are going on inside of it. Long story short, this would come to fruition, and some insane scientist dude has this massive lab and turned some of his prior escorts, I think, into these robotic mouse creations. I don't know if they actually were escorts or if they were just like ladies that work for him. I forget the term they use in the game, to be honest. But you then have to fight each and every one of them with 3 in total, and during the final fight with these things, and I say things heavily here, I'm not sure if they are still human at all anymore, I would end up getting a trophy from just getting 5 kills in 10 seconds on enemies. And I got this right here from shooting these enemies that blow up on contact, and a chain reaction happened, blowing up like 7 or 8 of them total, so yeah, that was a complete accident, but GG on the trophy pop. After that, the level was essentially over, and we just found another clue leading us to another area. This new area was the next level as well. Oh my god, that's almost like how it works. You go to one place, you find stuff that would lead you to another place. Peak game design. I seriously don't get the hype for this game at all. Don't get me wrong, I think it's an okay game. It's not bad. But again, it's not peak. It's a completely generic okay video game. It is what it is. Anyways, during this next mission called A Bit of a Scene, you basically just investigate a bunch of police brutality in our city and a bunch of corrupt cops, which is like the plot point for about 90% of this game. Everybody is corrupt besides us, apparently, because that's just how it is. At some point during this, I also did find my 10th newspaper for another newspaper collectible trophy pop right here, and I hate collectibles already. I'm gonna cut myself. Anyways, I then fought a ton of enemy cops, and that was it for the rest of the level, with my final objective being to just escape the district and move on with the story. However, I did miss a few collectibles, so I quickly ran around grabbing them before leaving. Also, if you ever do leave an area before doing everything you need to, you are fucked. Dry and no lube fucked as well, because you cannot go back ever. Not once, not a single chance, never. You can, however, buy collectibles if you miss them from the store, but if you miss, for example, a side job pickup or even a trophy inside the level itself, you gotta redo absolutely everything and pray you have an autosave. I love missable things in a video game I paid my hard-earned cash for, because why would I want to play all of it, right? Anyways, I got 2 collectible trophies right here from cleaning up bullshit. One was from comic strips and the other was from baseball cards. Again, both being 10 for each of them. I then finished off the mission I was on with even more combat before I left. A cutscene then played, showing again more police brutality, and you might be wondering who these corrupt cops are after. Well, it's this type of rodent in this world called a shrew. And this game's plot shifts heavily towards us figuring out where all the shrews are going. Why are they rounding them up? Who is rounding them up? And spoiler, it's to drain them in camps to fund some science experiment thing. But what if I told you, again, this was a World War II metaphor? Shrew, more like Jew. And they are throwing them in camps, bro. How is this? Am I insane right now? What is happening? Anyways, the next mission I was on was called Cheeseball Sub. Now that sounds a lot better than I imagine it probably would be in reality. But during this, our goal was to again search for the kidnapped shrews and save them. While doing that, I got another combat trophy, thankfully, called Holy Trinity from getting a triple kill with 1 shot. And I actually did this by throwing dynamite into a group of 3 enemies. It's a little bit odd how that counts as a triple kill with a shot when I never shot a gun, but okay then, and here's that trophy pop. A little bit later in that mission, while doing another very intuitive objective of finding somebody who knows something. This is literally my reaction to seeing just how creative that is. I would end up getting a trophy from killing 10 enemies in 20 seconds called, something kill. And I just kind of did this naturally while eviscerating the enemy force that got flooded into this room I was inside of. Nothing special at all, just a lot of spraying and praying, and here's that trophy pop. Now, a little bit later in the same mission, we also had a boss fight against a giant crocodile, which was kind of hard. However, you can hide very easily in this room from him, so it's overall not too bad. Now, the final goal of this mission was to track down the cheese-legger foreman. That sounds racist, I'm not gonna lie. But once you find him, all that happens is another ambush. Don't we just love fighting waves and waves of enemies? I f***ing live for this shit. And during this fight portion, I got another combat trophy called Boomtown from killing 20 enemies by throwing or kicking explosive barrels. I also have been trying my absolute best to do this whenever possible throughout this game, because that keynote being in a single playthrough is very crucial and we don't want to miss it. So I got it right here. It's not hard, you just have to go for it directly or you most likely won't get the trophy pop. Anyways, once that was finished, I then moved on to the next mission called Once Upon a Time by the Tinsel Bros. suppose. And this was entirely set in a movie studio, and it was actually pretty cool to be honest. The areas we fought, endless waves of enemies, at least looked appealing to the eyes for once. However, nothing of note happened during the level itself. But after something did, and I got a trophy called This Is My Boomstick from upgrading one weapon to tier 3. Now you can upgrade weapons in the bang shop below this building where the mechanic Tammy works out of. It's a little bit hidden because it's not really story, so I didn't see it for a while. But once I did, I had a ton of schematics, which are the longest collectible of the game, and they are used to upgrade guns. And in doing so, I again got that trophy from having one weapon tier 3. Yes, you do need all weapons at tier 3 as well, by the way, later on. Now the next mission I did was called A Bit of Curd and Pepper, and this one was the shortest mission of the game, literally just having us find some guy and talk to him and then you leave. That's literally it. But the mission after was called Saltwater Cambozo, and this mission is famous, at least in my mind it is, because after completing it and turning in all of our clues, you should get the first of many case closed trophies being called The Misfortunes of the Missing Magician. Now before I get ahead of myself during this level, I also got a trophy called Firestarter from blasting 20 enemies in a single playthrough by shooting at explosive barrels. So this is just like that one trophy I got a second ago from throwing them, except this time you shoot them, and here's a trophy pop yet again. Now back to the level, it's actually very quick. It just has a ton of fighting, like that's literally all you do. And you also just go in a massive circle of this area just to end up back at the docks for a final fight. No more bosses besides this one gimmick boss in the middle of the level, and then you dip from a ship this time. I then headed back to the office to pin some clues to the clue board and solve a case. Now if you look closely as I did this, a resolve lead appeared, and it's at this point that the trophy called Misfortunes of the Missing Magician should have popped because I found everything to this point and, well, you know, I resolved it. But for whatever reason, it bugged is the reason, it just did not pop. And that's why the trophy icon I've been popping up on screen remains locked, because even after doing it 3 times in 3 different playthroughs of this game, it never once unlocked for me. I don't know why. I have no idea why. And before you leave the video or start commenting, you didn't actually platinum this game, this is clickbait, I'm not the only one with buggy trophies. People all over, including well-known trophy guide creators, can't even get them. So yeah, we're just gonna raise the trophy counter by 1 and move on with our day. I got that trophy, okay? I got it.
Oh my god!
Anyways, because that trophy did not pop, I then went on a trophy drought and I didn't get any more for 2 hours of gameplay. During this, I did like 3 or 4 entire missions with really nothing happening on them. However, one of them was called the Shrewd Shrews, and it had us investigating the shrews in the sewer, which they were apparently being held in or are living out of. Now again, don't call me crazy, but this is another reference to the Jewish people and their sewers of New York. Is Mouse PI for Hire just World War II propaganda, or am I tripping, chat? Comment down below.
Retard alert!
But yeah, after 2 hours, I ended up on a mission called At All Points right here. And again, nothing happened during it. But after, when I was pinning clues and then heading outside to deal with a BMP agitator spewing propaganda, quite literally, I just punched him in the face and I got a trophy for doing that, so cool beans. The BMP company, by the way, is like the main antagonist group of this game. It's like this super PAC company that runs a lot of the world we live in, and they're just not good guys overall. They also may or may not be intertwined in the Shrew Holocaust. Anyways, I was in on a level called Swamp Oddity, and over the next 2 to 3 hours of gameplay, I would get numerous trophies from wrapping up key clues in cases. And these trophies are all like that one trophy I should have gotten forever ago. But the first one was called Secrets of the Shrew Shortage, and I got that right here during this mission's ending. I would then find another clue during this boat party mission that was actually pretty good, to be honest, but it was from wrapping up the Shrew Shortage case in general called Our Lesser Brothers. 30 minutes later, I then wrapped up another case, being the Betty Blue case this time, and again, 30 minutes, actually almost 40 minutes later, I got another combat trophy this time. Yeah, you thought I was gonna say for finishing a case, didn't you, you fucking retard? Anyways, it was just from crushing 20 enemies with heavy objects in a single playthrough. Now, this is probably the hardest combat trophy of the game, just because heavy objects means shooting down hanging items and having them hit enemies below them as they drop. Now, obviously, this isn't a common occurrence because, you know, things just aren't hanging around all the time, unless you're truly hung like myself. Sorry, here's a trophy pop. My apologies for the bad joke. You know, I am actually sorry. My apologies. I'm just kidding. I don't give a f. Eat my balls. Anyways, I then got 2 trophies from wrapping up the Betty Blue case and wrapping up the Missing Magician case. Now, this trophy is the final one in the Missing Magician case. However, somehow the one before it didn't pop, unlike literally all the other trophies did. It genuinely makes no sense, and I hate this game. Broken trophies are just retarded and shitty work by the developers. But then I got this trophy called So Who Done It from pinning every clue to my evidence board. Again, how the living fucking shit has the trophy from finding key clues during the missing magician case not popped when I have found every single clue in the game. Literally, I found everything. It doesn't even begin to make sense. But yeah, moving on, we are near the ending of the game now with all of those finished up. And the next trophy I got was from just finding the last gun in the game. In total, I think there's like 8 or 9 weapons you can use, maybe more, I forget, because half of them suck ass to begin with. But yeah, this trophy is just from getting, it's natural, okay, here's popping. I don't give a f. This video is a waste of my goddamn time. I don't care. I could be f***ing your mother right now, but instead I'm doing this shit. Anyways, yeah, before the final boss fight of the game and final level, which is just a repeat of the first level because we, again, you know, the game opened up with the ending. It doesn't fucking matter. I got a trophy from upgrading every weapon to the max, so GG, here it is. And I also collected all of the baseball cards, all of the abilities, all of the comic strips, and all of the newspapers in the game. In doing so, I've completed all of the collectibles and done everything. Suck my fucking nuts. So it's now time for the final boss fight against the CEO of this BMP corporation or whatever. Who gives a fuck? Long story short, I messed up the final fight and I died during it, but then my game also crashed, so I guess they really are saying that I fucking suck at this game. But upon doing it again on my second try, I won, and then I got the trophy from beating the game. The game then completely ends and you cannot go back at all. Yeah, we're just done. Say goodbye to the world we were in because you can't free roam post fights. You can't even just go back and say hi to an NPC. Nothing. It's just completely over. What a shit game, man. Holy fuck. People actually like this? But anyways, since I did miss numerous trophies, these include the side jobs, which I didn't know existed upon starting this game. I then began my second playthrough, and welcome to Stage 2, the cleanup of trophies that I missed. And during this second playthrough, I pretty much just did everything again aside from collectibles. The first trophy I got was from winning a baseball card match, which, you know, we'll talk about that more later on, but for now, here's a trophy from just winning one of them. I then went and did every single side job and main job because you have to do them both. In total, it took me about 6 hours more of my life, and I want to die inside. There was 14 total side jobs spanning across the entire game. During one of them, I also got a random trophy I missed called Quint's Delight from kicking this shark, and it drops a license plate. Random as f, but okay then. I then completed 5 side jobs total for that trophy called Dime Novel Sleuth, and then literally 5 hours later, I did the every side job trophy, and I am now 13 more reasons deep. And during all of that, the one trophy I missed from that case, by the way, again, did not pop despite me, again, getting and doing everything. I just love it. I love wasting my goddamn time. It's my favorite thing in the world. But I did still get all the other trophies I could, and the only 2 other ones I needed were both related to the most dumb minigame of all time in a video game, the baseball card matches. You have to win 30 of these things, and they are some of the most easy and boring shit ever. Nothing about these are fun. It's genuinely a fucking drool fest. I felt like fucking Patrick the Star overdosing on ketamine while sitting in my dark ass, dry ass, zero love gaming room playing this shit for 2 hours straight. But all in all, the game is just whoever has higher number wins. That's literally it. And after you get 20 tokens, which are awarded once per win or from side quests that you completed, you can buy this fucking ray gun bullshit, which is a trophy. I don't know. I never used it. And then I just sat there for another hour until I got 30 wins and the trophy popped, thankfully. Some people report that it doesn't. So yeah, good luck to anybody who dares try and platinum this game. And before I go, I also do want to say that I replayed the entire game again to see if that case trophy would pop. And I even deleted my save files and deleted the game in general and then reinstalled it. Again, it didn't pop. It didn't pop. Okay, yeah, alright, I'm done. GG, I'm out. Please never suggest a game again. That was the Mouse PI for Hire Platinum Trophy Experience, a genuine show. Goodbye.